We are at 7 o'clock, so I will call our meeting to order and open it on Monday, March 12th, 2021 at 7 p.m. If we could stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, all right, we do have a quorum with all members present, and we will look to adopt our agenda. Do we have any changes? No changes? All right, I will for motion to approve as presented.
So moved.
All in favor? Okay. Council mayor reports. Yeah. You might be having anything on? No.
Just two quick ones. The next Union Alliance meeting will be in Marvin. It'll be on the 22nd, I believe. Let me double check, make sure. Yes, on Thursday, the 22nd. And our primary topic is going to be alternate sources of funding for traffic projects. That's the big thing that we're hoping to discuss there.
Okay.
It'll start at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
And that's about the only thing I wanted to make sure I got out for everybody.
Okay. The only thing I have is we're having our second litter sweep. This is now the several weeks with the NCDOT litter sweep initiative across the state. Michael Winchester, I don't know if anybody has been on the Litter Busters on Facebook, Litter Busters of Union County. It's a group that was organized a handful of years ago, and one of the guys that started it reached out to me a month or so ago and asked about doing a litter sweep initiative with us. And ironically, we were kind of getting it planned. So anyway, the long and the short of it is we have our second litter sweep planned for the 17th, this Saturday. The Sign Up Genius worked really good. It was a lot easier. Would you agree to do it that way? The first time we did it in February. So we've done it again. But we don't have very many people signed up.
I'll start laughing again.
So-
I think I did that on the Whittington Mom's Facebook page last
Okay.
time, and I think we've got some people on there.
Okay.
I did have one person ask if there was an age limit, and I pretty much went back to it and said it's up to the parent's discretion for the most part.
Yeah, we can't. I mean, we can't have 12, 13. We got to be careful. Surely you'd think they wouldn't send them out. I mean, sometimes even, but
But if you have an 80-year-old, they can come. I mean, any age.
And
I
we
think
have-
I pretty much just said it's up to the parent's discretion
Parent's
and what they
discretion.
feel comfortable with their kids. So.
But the sign up is out there, so please, we've got our deputies, so we gotta have people out here. We're gonna
How
have
many do
two
we
deputies.
have?
We've got 2 for 84, and the Litter Busters guy, they're doing all the way up. Wesley Chapel's involved, Marvin's. I mean, it's going to be a pretty big initiative. I think the Optimist is doing 84 in front of WCWA, so there's going to be a lot of
We
folks
just
out.
need to push it out again.
We need to get people signed up, yeah, and I haven't sent it over, I didn't involve the school this time, just because I was giving it to the residents. I'm hoping they'll sign up. I may reach out to the girl at the high school and say, can you send this out to the clubs, but did it go to the residents
Send
list?
it back to the residents list again.
Okay, and we need to get the sign up. I just remembered, we'll get that up tomorrow. Somebody remind me, we'll get it tomorrow. Anyway, so that's it, so just make sure, Janice and I'll be picking up 84 ourselves with the 2 deputies, right, Jen?
Yes, oh yes.
Okay, that's it, so, all right, moving on. Public comments. Anybody want to make public comment? Raise your hand, make public comments. Nobody signed up? We didn't have any emails come in.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, public safety report. Oh, are you doing the public safety report? You got a lot of hands up right now.
So the month of March, let me put it.
That's cute.
During the month of March 2021, we've had several complaints regarding ATV activity in Weddington. We are urging residents to follow all safety precautions and understand that ATVs are not allowed on state maintained roads. Furthermore, ATV activity on private property requires the rider to have permission from the property owner prior to using it for ATV activity. The deputies are continuing to use the Weddington radar trailer to assist with speeding complaints in the Weddington area. They are aware of issues with traffic around Weddington Elementary School with regards to vehicles driving on the wrong side of the road. They are addressing this issue with the school's resource officers, and as time permits, being in the area during those time periods, they're trying to make their presence. Deputy Krupp asks to please continue to utilize the residential check program when you're going on vacation. The form is located on the Town of Weddington website. And they would also like all residents to be aware of the upcoming letter sweep on Saturday, April 17th, 2021, between the hours of 8 and 11. Please watch out for all the volunteers on the roads when driving through the town.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Assistant. Okay, now we have our presentation from Ann Craven. So we will welcome you for our fiscal year.
You want me to stand up?
You can, if you're comfortable sitting, you stay right there. We can hear you just fine.
Okay, good. All right, well, when we got finished with the audit this time, I can say in one sentence, your town is financially sound, very sound. There is no debt whatsoever. Your fund balance increased by $243,000, despite all of the tentacles of COVID affecting everything that went on. Now, if you compare that to last year it was $546,000. But a lot of that came about because projects were delayed because of everything. Money was not spent. So that really is not a good comparison. I think this one is more comparative this year because of all the problems that the pandemic has caused during the year. So I think that's pretty good. The thing that I saw throughout this audit was the conservative budgeting and constant monitoring of everything. Well, it looks like we may not get everything we should get here, so let's cut it back a little bit. So I saw a lot of that going on, and I think that's great in this kind of an environment. Then if you want to look at it on a full accrual basis, the net position was less than it was last year, but again, that's what you expect. And the tax collection rates for the town of Weddington were at right at 99%, 98.984%. That's a little better than the state average at about 97. So your collections are being managed very well there. The revenues were up by about $100,000. Expenses were also up by $200,000. So, you know, in terms of everything, that's kind of flat. So I think it's been managed very well. If you look at what your borrowing power is that you have here, and you have no debt, what you might say, well, what can I borrow? About $195 million.
That's a big embarrassment.
Oh, yeah.
And I say, no.
If this is early April Fool's, late April Fool's.
I had to throw it in.
I know.
I'm not advocating that you take out that money, but you got to pay it back.
Oh, we know.
Oh, yeah.
There's always that.
We're being humorous.
Is there anything you want to ask me? It's very financially sound, very well monitored, very well managed.
Well, thank you.
I don't have any questions. Councilman, any questions? Thank you for your time. Thank you very much. We always love having you here. Okay, moving on to the consent agenda. Lisa, you could just give us a brief.
Sure. Item 9A is a budget amendment. This is for fiscal year 2021. The main cause of that is for the revenues. We didn't receive the Woods subdivision application that we expected. That still could come in. but that was the major change on that. And then for expenditures, we have the additional stormwater erosion control costs of having Gary come out more regularly. And then moving that pool and the plaza grading into this budget. I don't know if Leslie, if you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, the only other thing I would say is that, we had budgeted to do the Tully Morris roundabout, and that was gonna be a appropriation, but it got delayed, so I pulled that out, and we have a flat budget now for the amended budget.
Item B and C are proclamations, one for National Police Week and the other's for Arbor Day. And then item D is the release of the performance bond. This is the last bond that we hold for Brumley subdivision. It's map 6 in the amount of $47,268.
All right, if there are no questions or changes to the consent agenda, I will look for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
All in favor? Minutes, changes to the February 26th special town council retreat minutes. If not, I'll look for a motion to approve.
So moved.
All in favor? All right. March 8th, regular town council minutes. Changes? No changes? Motion to approve?
So moved.
All in favor? All right, we are moving right along here, folks. Public hearings. So we have 2 public hearings tonight. The first one is on the Weddington Glen preliminary plat. So I will open the public hearing.
It's just the gentleman, the applicants.
Okay.
Signed up.
Okay.
That's it.
Do you gentlemen have anything y'all would like to say or comment or questions?
We have our engineer on standby.
Okay.
I think everything was discussed during planning.
Okay.
If you have any questions, that's why we're here.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
the plan was previously approved. as you
Right,
know.
right,
We
yeah,
updated everything.
There hasn't been any changes to
We'll
it.
answer any questions you have.
Okay, all right, so if there's no one here to speak, I will close the public hearing and look to Lisa for the report.
Thank you. CH Land Company LLC submitted a preliminary plat and construction plans. This is 35 lots on 49.69 acres. Total density of 0.70 units per acre. This is a conservation subdivision where it's density neutral and we provide 50% open space. They have their 100-foot view shed buffer along Weddington Matthews Road, and then their 50-foot buffer on the surrounding properties. Subdivision will be served by Union County Public Water and Sewer. Sketch plan was approved back in 2017. The town council approved the preliminary plat in February of 2018 per section 4644D2. A final plat shall be submitted within 2 years of the approval of the preliminary plat, or the preliminary plat becomes null and void. So because the 2 years has lapsed, the applicant is seeking reapproval. The planning board reviewed the preliminary plat March 22nd. Concerns were expressed about runoff into the Bromley subdivision and whether any downstream studies were completed. I do have Bonnie, our engineer, taking a look at that. They are required to do our 100-year storm, which Bromley was not required to do, so that should help the existing runoff issues if there are any now. But I let her know those concerns. They discussed whether there would be any additional right-of-way needs for Hemby and Weddington Matthews Road intersection. They were not required to do a TIA because of the number of homes, but I did have the applicant do a diagram depicting that at where the current property line is, there is enough room for right-of-way to add additional turn lanes at Weddington Matthews Road and Hemby at Beulah Church Road. They are not required to give right-of-way at this point and not required any turn lane improvements at that intersection. Just when the time comes, DOT should have enough right-of-way without asking for additional property from the applicant. They also discussed the sewer capacity, which we'll hear from the county soon, whether they're going to release that, but I do think they were pre-approved for sewer capacity with their last approval. And then they discussed whether a fountain or aerator for the pond should be required. Nothing has changed. I don't know if you want to make that a condition or not, or if the applicant has looked into that, up to you all. But the preliminary plat is in conformance with the sketch plan and the previously approved preliminary plat, so I'd be happy to answer any questions and know their engineers also on Zoom, Mr. Brent Cowan, if you have any questions.
Questions?
Well, you answered you that I had, but, and I know that it says that it doesn't qualify for KIA. I know that the traffic on Matthews. Yeah. You work that.
I just didn't like that.
Nothing work that. But I was wondering, maybe I'd like to see what a current traffic pattern is there. I know it's increased over the last couple of years. And I know a while back when we were having issues with speeding, the deputies were saying that it's not the speed that we need to be concerned with. It is the amount of traffic. And that was probably 8 or 9 years ago. So I'd like to see if we can get the radar trail out and maybe do a traffic count for us. Can we do that?
Sure. Mhm.
I'm still concerned about that, and we're really close to that intersection. Just for clarity,
Yep.
you're saying that the turn lane is going to be coming off of Henry Road onto Matthews Weddington Road. It's going to be a right turn lane.
Yes,
Is that where
sir.
that- and then, of course, you know, my stormwater runoff issues. So you're thinking we're okay there.
Yeah, yeah. And I have Bonnie looking a little bit downstream to make sure they're all protected.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
This one.
No.
Okay. All right. So we will move on to our second public hearing, which is on our Unified Development Ordinance. I will open this public hearing and wait for anybody for public comments. Okay, I will close the public hearing. And Lisa?
Thank you. The town of Weddington has updated its land development ordinance to comply with the legislative requirements imposed by the state legislators, which is State Statute 160D, and it also improves the organization of existing ordinances to make the ordinances simpler and easier to follow. Town staff, legal counsel, and planning board have worked together to prepare this final draft of the UDO for consideration of you all tonight. The UDO was posted on the town website back in March, and a notice of public hearing was posted. No comments or questions have been received to date. The work session was held March 22nd. The council discussed adding a section regarding conditional district amendments, minor amendments, which is within your staff report. State statute requires that all zoning regulations shall be made in accordance with the comprehensive plan. So I did provide a proposed land use plan consistency statement for you all to adopt if you're ready to approve the UDO this evening. And Mr. Bergenwatt is available on Zoom if you all have any questions.
Questions? Okay. So we will move on to the consideration of this and go ahead and vote on it. Yeah, I already did.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's okay. I first want to just give a huge thank you to Lisa and to Kevin for taking on this task. They have saved the town a tremendous amount of money by doing this in-house and have condensed our ordinances in a way that is organized, and it's very easy for, I think, for potential developers and for us and folks to understand. So I am thrilled at the outcome of this. And council, any comments or questions?
I just want to echo that. I agree with you, Cody. I want to thank Lisa, Kevin, and the planning board for doing such a good job. It was very labor intensive, and I'm sure it wasn't fun. It's not interesting reading, but you guys did.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. Oof. But you guys did a phenomenal job, and I echo the mayor's comments. Thank you very much to all, including the planning board.
Yes, thank you. You know what, I did not mean to leave out the planning board, because you guys did a lot, so thank you for that, yes. James?
Well, I'm just gonna reiterate what everybody else is saying, but thank you to the planning board, because it was a very labor-intensive job, and it was very time-consuming to sit there with all those words and put logic to what you put on paper. So thank you so much for what you did. Thank you, Lisa, and thank you, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin.
I think we've all gone through it. It's been a year almost, right? So I think we've been going through it for a year, so, and we've had time to definitely read it, and I appreciate all your help.
Okay, anybody else?
I will say, mirror the same. Thank you guys all for all of your hard work.
I'm ringing the same bell. I'm saying, look, thank you to the planning board, Lisa, Kevin. This is something the town needed. And the fact that not only do we have it, but as has been previously mentioned, it was done in-house, which saved us as a town. The taxpayers of this town should be here thanking you as well for getting this product to us and getting it done in-house. And that needs to be on the record. And many thanks.
Okay, awesome. We need a land use consistency statement. So do I?
Yep, it's in the staff report if you want to adopt it as written or make any
Oh,
changes
sorry,
to it.
it's on the back of this, yes. Okay. So I need to read that in first before I do my motion, right? I will look for motion to approve our UDO as presented, along with the land use consistency statement.
As presented.
As presented, and the land use consistency statement says, the Unified Development Ordinance is consistent with the land use plan in that it upholds the vision of the plan by protecting our rural character and managing growth, and it is reasonable in that it improves and organizes our existing ordinances, making them simpler and easier to follow for staff, appointed and elected officials, and residents. So I will look for a motion to approve.
So
All in favor? Aye.
No!
Thank you, everybody.
We could have a bonfire and a little party.
When Kevin first said, I mean, like, I have this giant book in front of me, and it's condensed down to it, and I got real nervous, and I called Lisa, and I said, what? Where did everything go? But the redundancy was such that you really start reading through and you see that redundancy. So I am super excited. Thank you.
And I think it's important that you mentioned the redundancy, because a lot of the people who don't understand what this UDO is need to know that.
It was fluff and redundancy, and until you really start reading the ordinances, you realize you read 2 pages and you've read meaningless.
Exactly. So,
And
yeah,
it's
I'm
gonna
glad-
save us a lot of
It's gonna
time.
save us a lot of
Yes,
time. So
absolutely.
yay, this is exciting.
Can I ask y'all to do me one favor? So the motion sounded like you approved the consistency statement, but
We
we
need
need
to
to have a
approve-
motion
to
to
approve.
adopt the UDO.
Sorry. So we approved the land use consistency statement. Now I need a motion to adopt the new Unified Development Ordinance. Okay.
So moved.
All right. All in favor?
Hi. Okay, now you can solve it.
Good stuff, thank you. Okay, preliminary, discussion of our 21-22 budget and draft capital improvement.
Okay, you've got in your packets the preliminary proposed budget. It's been just revised a little bit after our work session meeting the other week. It still shows a 5.2 cent proposed budget. We got the valuation from the county, and the reval is at 3.02 billion appraised value. We think our estimate what it would have been without the reval was 2.35 billion. So that the reval increased to 670 million in tax base. And about, let's say, 350,000 in ad valorem tax. The revenue neutral rate would be like 4.05 cents. The difference 4.05 versus 5.2. Where that increase is going is principally to trash. You know, this is going to cover the quarter of trash that we have in the budget, which is a little over 200,000. We have that increase in the consulting for Gary, and so that we are using up that extra money with the new services. So that's why we're not. That's why there's not a drop. So.
Can you repeat that, please?
Yeah.
Yeah, if we had stayed revenue neutral and didn't, have the rebound, we would have a ad valorem revenue of about 1.2 million. Because of the refoul, if we leave the tax rate where it is, we have 1.54 million. So it's like a $300,000 increase. The reason we are not at this time proposing to drop to a revenue neutral rate is because we're adding a service. We're going to add the trash.
So what if we're not adding the trash?
Right. Because of fee.
We're gonna do a flat fee.
Then we can reevaluate.
Have you looked at like other uses for that money? I mean, with North Carolina Department of Education, like,
Now this is where I'm getting very confused, because I thought you wanted to do ad valorem and then what wasn't covered with ad valorem covered with a fee. And so I said to Lisa, I need to sit down with you because I don't know I'm very confused as to what you guys are wanting to do.
If it's based on ad valorem, then that's based on everybody that's gonna pay differently based on their property value.
Yeah.
So that's not real.
Because I took it out, and then I was told that I wasn't supposed to have taken it out, so I put it back.
Okay, so I think this is, and let me just say, and anybody can correct me if I'm misspeaking. I think where we are is, first of all, it's difficult to do any of this, incorporate numbers into a budget when we have no clue what the numbers, we haven't gotten any of the RFPs back, and we haven't got anything. I think once we do that, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, taking it out of ad valorem, you can't do that because it's based on people's property value. So are we in agreement that we would not?
My understanding was we were going to look at the numbers first, and we really couldn't do anything prior to that. And as the discussions went on, we realized that it would be very hard to absorb this into the tax base.
Right.
So we started strongly talking about a flat fee, but none of that could be really determined until we got those numbers.
Right.
So I understand the confusion,
Right.
but that gives kind of a bleak and scary outlook. So we really need to really nail down what those numbers are when we get the RFP back. And for me, look, as discussion went on, it appears to me that if we go down this further, a flat fee is more appropriate.
Is more appropriate. So
Okay.
Right.
Because I've totally heard different things, and I've gone. I know I've done it wrong again.
No, Legend. The way this conversation goes.
But what I told her is ad valorem can cover a good percentage of the fee, and so the fee is very minimal, so we keep our tax rate the same.
But ad valorem is gonna be based on your property. So if Janet's house
the
is
question is
valued higher than mine, then she's
or
gonna
a
be more out of pocket
subsidized
than I am.
fee.
But where the
Am I correct?
confusion,
Right.
I think where the confusion came in is we also discussed covering some of it within the tax base
Yeah.
and then covering up with the fee, whatever that can go.
Yeah.
So it's probably where the
Yeah.
confusion came in, but as you got time to think about it, that.
And we also discussed possibly paying up front for like the trash cans.
Right.
But again,
Right.
and I know why you are a little,
Yeah.
but we can't really.
Because I did take it out, and then I was told to put it back.
Well, there's gonna be a process.
I was confused when I saw it, when I first saw it,
Yeah,
because you had proposed the lowering it down.
Well, let's do
But
that.
there's just so many other things that we haven't taken into consideration for the budget that weren't shown on here, that I didn't like the way that the budget was presented. Because there are a lot of things that we haven't discussed as a council to say, hey, is this something that we as a town or as a council want to put into the budget?
right.
So I think for right now,
It's a
I
whole-
think for right now, the trash doesn't need to be a part. We have no clue.
Yeah. But just so you know though, if we don't put it in
Right.
July 1, you're
Well, we'll
either
have-
going to have to absorb it through your fund balance or charge the fee, because you can't tax it later. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So we'll know, the RFPs are due back the first week in May, so that should give us, I mean, that, we'll have to probably have a special meeting.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, because I'm sorry, I've been
Look,
totally.
it's fine, but I think at that point, at this point,
Because I thought I had it in, and I was like, we're gonna charge a fee, so I took it out, and then it was like, no, we're gonna do as much ad valorem as we can and just subsidize it with a fee. And so, I was okay.
I think it's gonna be a flat fee if we do it.
So,
And we might pay for the cans up front,
right.
but as far as going back to,
Yeah.
just the.
And the thing, like, when if you take it out, and the question was, what else would you spend? Well, I have everything that we had talked about in there, so I didn't know what else.
I think,
To
I
replace
my
it
point
with.
is, this is the real first budget that last year was kind of deer in the headlights. to me.
Right.
So this is the first time I've actually had to really, sit down and look at it, I think we need to kind of plan looking forward as well.
Yeah.
And do we need to start looking at some of these bigger projects like DOT? If they're not gonna have any money, instead of keep pushing projects back because they don't have money, we may have to get more involved.
Right.
And I think those are some of the planning things that
What is it 5%? What's the contingency, maximum contingency that we have? For what you can budget as a cushion, kind of. It's like, I think it's 5% of expenditures.
That's no problem.
So,
I think that's right.
yeah, and so, if that's our little,
Cushion.
yeah, but you are limited as to how much you can tax and not spend. So, you can't just say, oh, we're gonna put aside $300,000 for a project in 5 years. You have to,
like the Tilly North roundabout.
yeah, it's still in the
Still in the
30,
budget.
yeah.
It's still in the budget.
But do you mean that that's just our portion of it? What happens if DOT has another year like they did this year and they push it back another 5 or 10 years?
And that's what they've been doing.
Yeah.
That's what they
Wait,
do.
Yeah.
we're out of our $200,000.
There is a contingency number in that 189. It's 95,000, I think, that they have as the contingency number. But that is the concern with DOT projects. Is a lot of the contracts say that we're responsible for cost overruns. And when they get pushed down 5, 10, 15 years, who knows what those cost
Well,
overruns could be.
Yeah.
Well, the only thing I was wondering is, as far as going revenue neutral was, our public safety expenses keep going up. And so that was the only reason why I don't think we can go totally back to that number, because what are we getting this year? An extra $30,000? It's 20 and 10, isn't it?
It's 17 for the fire and 11 for the
So,
police.
yeah, so,
Yeah.
I mean, I think we've got to look at that.
Yeah.
And
And
then
Sue, you
again,
said at the last meeting that you were expecting the law enforcement to go up, what? How much, 2
I
and a
think I
half?
said
or
3%.
3%?
and they
And it's
went up
going
a
to try to be
little over that.
3.7 or
Yeah,
something? So, yeah, it was more
yeah.
when I read that number.
Well, and our expenses, I mean, our contract work, we're utilizing Gary
And there is
stormwater a
There is
lot
another
more.
potential pot of money out there for that American Rescue Plan, the ARP. And they've done these preliminary estimates as to what the towns and the counties and stuff are gonna get. And we've are supposed to get a huge amount, but then it's limited by what your budget is. So we would never get what we're allocated to get. But at some point that will be decided. I don't know how much it's going to be. So it's not in here, but that can also,
And that could be used for like.
yeah.
We're waiting to find out what's gonna let us spend it
I
on.
do think that sanitation is one of the approved things though.
Well, I don't really want to use tax dollars for sanitation. I just
Right.
think it's.
Well,
gonna be better
that's
to put that
that's
fee.
the,
Yeah.
I think we have money.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't,
Yeah.
there's nothing we can really, and I think at this point, when we, you know, in the tax rate as well, I mean, I agree with Janice. I think, you know, I think we can probably reduce the tax rate some, but I think we need to keep in mind, none of these costs, none of these costs are going down.
Right.
And, you know, so.
Yeah,
it would
I don't
be-
think-
it would be
we can't
difficult to
get to-
4.2 and then
we
say,
can't
oh,
get
we gotta
to-
go back up
we can't get
4.9.
to a revenue neutral. We can't get all the way down to 4.05.
No.
The lowest I think we can go is 4.2. And that's, you know, bare bones. But,
So over the next 10 years, like we might have building construction going down. So I really think it's going to level off over the next 10 years. So I would highly recommend that we kind of stay where we are with all the projects that we
Or
have.
something
in mind.
close to
Or
it.
something
Even
close
drop
to
it
it.
maybe
down.
somewhere in the middle.
Well,
Yeah.
4.8 or 8 or
4.9.
something,
Yeah, it's
where
a
it
difference.
gives us a little bit of cushion, because,
Yeah.
But
But
that
you're
would
right,
help
you don't have
continue
much
that
build
number.
out left of the town.
What's the percentage, you know, okay?
Oh, I'd say 40% with the 84 corridor and Providence Road with 2 pending projects that would go down by a lot if those 2 came in.
Have we ever looked at any other revenue outlets or sources of revenue?
There's not a whole lot of options. Privilege license, we don't have business in the town. We get motor vehicle tax, we get the state. We're not allowed to collect a lot of other things.
Probably one thing in particular what I was looking at was for a short-term hospitality tax for VRBOs, for Airbnbs. If you look, I did a quick search online, and there were probably at least a dozen that I pulled up for one weekend in May.
I think we have to, I'll look, but I think we have to have legislative approval to charge any kind of occupancy tax.
Yeah, I don't know if that's legislative. It does. And our ability to tax is governed by the state, and so we would have to get permission from the state. And I don't know. But I know that like the other towns around here do that.
They've done it,
They've
yeah.
done it. So they've already been through the process of a local act that the state does, that goes to the state level, and they give it to you. But I think we're leaving a lot of money on the table right there. It is something that a lot of people are, you know, utilizing their houses for. There's a house of, you know, Lake Providence, and it's renting for $764 a night. You know, and it's just, I think there's an opportunity there for us to take it, where it's not taxing our residents, it's not, you know, doing anything like that, but it is a business, and I think we're missing out. I don't know what.
Somebody's running a business outside of commercial.
You'd say,
But I would say it is something that I'm interested in.
Yeah, and I guess
we can do a little bit more research.
trying to find out how to find what those businesses are. So,
It just, I mean, you know, on certain counties or cities in the state, in the country, can mandate these short-term rentals have to have one business license too. They have to have, you know, they pay this, you know, the taxes on that. They have to have, you know, certain requirements like that. And I think we're just missing out on something.
we can look into it, but it's certainly not anything that's going to be done in this budget cycle.
No, I mean,
Right, yeah.
no, but if we can, you know, say,
Yeah.
okay,
So,
put it on the short list.
Yeah, and then the last, and I haven't looked recently, but the latest Airbnb, North Carolina refused to tax them. So, and we're allowed, so we've got to, and what we can look at, could be that places like Bloomington and some of the more resort areas got special legislation, and I could be missing a year, because I acknowledge that it's a year, but I did it every year.
So the state does not tax the Airbnb?
No, they didn't, and so I do
Well, that's
need to
what
go
you
look at it.
I think they might now. There's some services out there that I know, you
you know, I had a rental property, but it was in South Carolina. I was paying state, county, and city taxes monthly on that one property.
Yeah.
And I'll double check, but the short-term rental, industry won in North Carolina with the lobbying last year or the year before. So I will double check and see if something has changed since then. It has all to do with permitting, so they don't want local municipalities permitting these places. They're generally not subject to like the same rules as hotels and
Right.
that kind of stuff. And so the two of us can go take a dive into that and see what the rules are.
In general, the state makes it very hard to charge a unique tax. So it needs to be, kind of across the board or.
Well, it's like a business. It's a business then, so it's not really unique. It's a certain kind of business where they have to register and they're. But yeah, they don't. So that's the states that don't have to register. So that's been the bugaboo. I mean, the local municipalities are not happy with how the state's decision was on that, and so we just like we'll go look and figure it out, get you and get you information on that.
Yeah, and one of the reasons that our sales tax over the course of the last few years has increased as much as it has is because we finally got this sales tax on internet sales. You know, we used to weren't allowed to collect that, and now the state started charging that, and that's really boosted.
And we just get a percent. We don't really know.
Yeah.
We get a
Yeah, we get a
percentage.
percentage based on our ad valorem tax.
If you feel better about where you are with this, yeah, I mean, we don't know yet.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
So I guess I'll sit down with Lisa tomorrow. Well, we'll meeting tomorrow anyway. Yeah. So, but I will do a budget with a reduced tax rate, but not a bare bones tax rate. Maybe.
Yeah, 4.8 or.
Talk about what we feel comfortable with before it's. I mean, you feel comfortable with that number?
What?
4.8 is, yeah. I mean,
I think we've got to be careful with that. I mean, with the rising costs, especially the juggernaut on the block here, the elephant in the room is a public service or safety. The fire department going up annually, the sheriff's department was going up annually substantially, both of them, which sheriff's department said they weren't going to do. We've got to be careful.
Well, we can at least have that on the spreadsheet and
Right.
weigh the difference.
Yeah. We need to make
Yeah,
sure that,
I can do multiple scenarios.
and if you can do that,
That would be
yeah.
very helpful.
my
Yeah.
comfort level.
That's not at this point, that's not a problem at all.
And on the fifth, I don't think, are you gonna, okay, so how many tax rates do we want and what are the tax rates? Let's make it real clear so she knows what she's doing. So let's give her the tax rates. And
I already did 4.2, which like I said was bare bones. That was a tough one. So we can do 4.5, 4.8, 5.1, and 5.5, 4.8, and 5.2.
And
So
prior to that,
it's been 5.2 for a long time.
for what,
Since fire.
since fire, it was
Yeah.
2 point something prior.
Right. Yeah, it was 2.0, and then we added 3. No, it was 3.2, and we added 2 for fire, right? Or vice versa.
And
So-
until that situation is
Yeah.
settled, my suggestion would be not really monkeying with it at all.
Yeah, and then, if ultimately fire goes back to the
We're not
county.
really- well-
you are raising.
Yeah.
Well, for the county, I mean,
But
because
you're
of
raising
VDOT,
The
taxes.
net amount that you collect
Is
is higher.
raising taxes. So I think.
The rate is lower, but your dollar coming in the door is higher.
So I'm saying I would at least like us all to consider 4.7, 4.8, because you are raising taxes by keeping your rate at 5.2. I mean, and again, I want to make sure we're covered,
Right.
and public safety is our biggest expense.
I agree with that. I see what you're
But I mean, we are raising taxes if we don't reduce it.
saying. Yeah, no, I see.
Your
Yeah,
your
that's-
tax goes higher, so why don't we do a 4.8, 4.9, and 4.9?
Yeah, that's really not even partly what.
Okay, 4.8. Okay. What else do you feel?
5.0 or?
I could do 4.8, 5 and 5.2.
Okay.
Okay,
All
yeah.
right, yeah.
Okay. All right, so that's clear on what. It is.
Yes.
Okay, all right, questions on the actual, now that we've gotten through that, questions on the budget, numbers themselves?
Activities, I think we are gonna do something with Christmas this year. You got
I've got tree lighting, yeah.
I see it now.
Now,
Why didn't I see it before?
Wait a minute.
It's at the top, please. Tree lighting.
Oh, I'm looking at this thing. Oh, I gotta get the new one, sorry.
Why do we all, I guess, what are the miscellaneous revenues and why is it, we had budgeted 27,000 and now we only have 1,000 budgeted for this year.
Oh, that was the CARES money. It was
The
the
CARES-
CARES
the CARES
money.
money.
And then the other thing that goes in there is alarm fees. And with everyone having been home, we didn't have anyone.
At all, really, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, that's like, dang.
I didn't think about that.
But the contract labor, it's dropped from 50 to 5,000.
That is because there's a flat 5 in there just, because we hire, somebody to do a study or, do a survey or a questionnaire. And then the other ones are on this other sheet. So that's where he's got the
Last year,
on which
like
sheet?
last year we had $50,000 and now we have 5,000.
Yeah,
Just
there's
because
more
you-
on this sheet. So if you go over to contract labor, you see transportation consulting 15, miscellaneous projects 15, urban forester 5. So
It's on the back sheet at the bottom.
yeah, this first sheet is just what we typically are ongoing recurring expenses that we know we're going to have every year, and how when that money comes in and when our monthly lawn maintenance goes out, or lease for the copier, or phone and utility bills, when everything, our salaries that are set where they are right now, when all that's out the door, how much money do we have left? And that's the 692,940 at the bottom, and that's what I call the money that we have to decide what we want to do with. And that's what the long sheet is. What can we do with that other money?
And the ground maintenance covers the new property that we have to maintain.
Yes.
Okay. Are there any other questions?
Why did our advertising for planning and zoning go up so high? Into the 1,000 to 7,500.
That actually is a mistake. It pulled the wrong number, so that should still be 1,000. Yeah. We split our advertising, and our utilities and our phone. It's 50-50, and that's a formula error because there was something between utilities and advertising and under admin, and it pulled that number instead. So. Yeah, it pulled the repairs and maintenance line.
All right, I don't have any more questions. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, can you mom better?
Well,
On purpose?
yeah, I can drop some of these old columns now that we've looked at it a few times, and I could certainly do that. It'll make it be another page long.
Do you have that timeline I asked for like when the banking?
Yes, I've talked to a couple banks, and we are going to try to get them to come out and present to us the last week of April and the first week of May. So,
But have you looked at how the new software integration works with those banks and?
I have spoken with two banks. I've talked to First Citizens and Truist. Truist knows that they've integrated with Edmunds in the past. First Citizens is checking. I still have to have the phone conversation with Edmunds. I was on a different Zoom call and missed the last Edmunds Zoom call, so I don't know yet who they are familiar with. So.
Thank you. Anything else? Oh, thanks, Leslie.
You're welcome.
All right, to be continued. Moving on to new business, consideration of Weddington Glen preliminary plat.
Yeah, there's no change, and I don't have any listed conditions, so unless you have any changes, just motion to approve.
We went through the public hearing, questions?
I think I probably have to look for some more time, but I realized that.
Okay, so I will look for a motion to approve the Weddington Glen preliminary plat. So moved. All in favor? Very good. As you said.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're gonna send your call.
I thought about it. We're gonna make it work.
I'm good.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Next we have the discussion of the House Bill 401, which I'm sure you all are familiar with. Just a quick note, I kind of played phone tag over the last week with David Willis, and we finally caught up over the weekend. Just based on what he said, he does not feel like, he feels like this is going to be dead on arrival. He does not feel like it will ever make it to the House floor for a vote. He has spoken with several of his colleagues, and he just does not. It doesn't appear to be an appetite for it, and it doesn't appear to have support. He said he would kind of keep me posted. He knows where we stand. He's got several calls from, I think his budget's been busy. And I think he kind of knows how we feel about it. So he said that he would keep me posted if he felt like there was any changes or any updates. So that's.
I guess, what I'll add is, when I first got the email on this from Lisa, I immediately got on the phone and tried to start calling some people that I knew. And basically, what I've been told so far is that it's going to start out in the Senate side. It is not going to be jointly introduced. Committees are not going to be working on it in the House on the Senate side simultaneously. The concerns that I expressed were, even though I was told later that, well, if you and I did read it. I mean, that was one of the comments that one of the sponsors of the bill made, Representative Brody, about, well, how many of you people that are commenting on this have actually read it? Well, I read the House bill, that 401, and I believe if you look in the second paragraph or the second statement, it said that local municipalities shall allow this type of development on zoning that was for single family. And then, some discussions after 2 or 3 days when I made some phone calls and got them back. I said, well, if you read on a little bit further down in that, there's some ameliorating language. Now, I'm not an attorney, so I don't know what that means. I mean, I'm fairly simple. When something says, where I came from before, if something says shall and will instead of can or may, that is a sea change difference in meaning. And so, and I would just say this for the record, and anybody that will be reading these minutes later, you need to be making phone calls now, because just because they say it's not going to pass or it may not get out or we don't think whatever, the very fact that this thing saw the light of day is blowing my mind. I mean, and that's just where I'm at. It is I mean, when I read it, I'm going, you've got to be kidding me. The state is going to be taking away local zoning control from local municipalities at the state level. And, yeah, so, so I guess just stay tuned and we'll see what happens. So.
This thing here, Lisa, though, if you're looking to, I know we talked about it, writing a letter or a resolution imposing this, but
We have a draft resolution. You guys haven't had time to review it. We can do that, or we can write a letter, with those same opposing points. I don't know if it's better for you all to individually do that, or if you would like to send something as a group, or.
At least in my opinion, I agree with you, Jeff. I can't tell you since I thought, oh, this will never happen. It has. So I think I would feel comfortable with sending, whether it's a letter or a resolution, but we formally send something as a council. No, I'm sure other towns will follow suit, but I think
Wesley Chapel's already drafted one and it's off the press.
And I'd like to recommend that we start,
Yes, absolutely.
And we do, Karen sent me a copy of theirs, so I do have their copy that I can send out to you all.
You guys, everybody okay with that?
Absolutely.
So a letter, not a resolution.
I mean, I don't care which way, whatever.
I think a letter,
Yeah.
I think a letter, yes, and we all can sign it.
Okay,
I would go with a letter.
okay,
We'll get that drafted.
okay. Perfect. All right. Andy on the road, we've kind of been through this.
The rezoning in Union County from R40 to R20, so I've bullet pointed some concerns, and if you all agree, I'll get a letter out to the Board of County Commissioners and the Planning Board and staff to make sure our concerns are addressed in the staff reports. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I know density was an issue to some degree, and I have had some conversations the last go around with all the commissioners at the time. But for me, the biggest concern that I had, and I've seen it, I've gone out there on several occasions to witness it, is the flooding and the damage that's going to happen. I'm honestly surprised that Antioch in that area doesn't wash out. I mean, it's a road repair. So yeah, I would ask the council to approve a letter to it. You've done a nice job here.
Yes. And this is a subject, we discussed it at the previous Alliance meeting. It's going to be on the agenda again this month. And none of the representatives, from the different municipalities here were in favor of it. So just as you said, Mike, this doesn't make sense. Where they're trying to propose it, just.
And thank you, Jeff, for bringing that up. I mean, I know you've been working on this. I appreciate it.
No worries.
All right. Lisa. Update. Any update? Let's hear it. Come on.
I'm sure there's a lot of stuff, but my mind has been elsewhere today. I did write a few things down so I can get through it. But as you know, I've accepted another position and I'll be leaving the town of Weddington at the end of the month. I wanted to publicly express my deepest appreciation for all of your support and guidance during the last 4.5 years that I've been with the town. I'm blessed with this opportunity to know each and every one of you. Some of you have been there for me through personal issues, others for advice, others a shoulder to cry on, but all of you have been my biggest cheerleader. Your constant praise and thankfulness keeps me going and happy to be in Weddington as I start out each day. Thank you for, under your leadership, allowing me to grow. Thank you for listening to me and my crazy ideas. You are the best group of board members that I've worked with in the last 15 years of local government. The town is lucky to have you all as leaders, and I have no doubt it will continue to succeed under your leadership and guidance. I remain grateful for the opportunity, and I wish the town continued success.
That's not fair.
That's all.
That's your only update.
We're gonna miss you.
We're gonna miss you, Lisa. enforcement, did Sam get?
I did get that today, and I will email that out separately.
Leslie, do you have any updates?
Guess what?
You have to
Do your own budget.
You have to be racing. Thanks for making me laugh.
You've got in your packets the financial statements for the month. They are the new software, so they're formatted a little bit differently. You had quizzed it, and I'll point it out to you on the revenue and expenditure statement. The columns are a little different. Our old reports showed the budget as the last column. Now it's shown as the first column. The budget presented here is not the amended budget that you approved tonight. I will get that new amended budget in for next month. The middle column is the current month's expenditures, and then you have year-to-date expenditures. And then the last column shows you the percentage of the budget remaining. So,
Are you enjoying the new software?
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. It's a learning curve. So I do think it has more capabilities.
Yeah.
So I was talking with Ann about some of the checks and balances. It has a lot more checks and balances, which is good. But there are some things that are more steps. The reports look different. So it's a little, I haven't gotten used to that yet. And we are switching mid-year. So we are having a little hybrid thing going, which is kind of a pain.
All right. Thank you. Transportation report. We had our quarterly Union County meeting, and there's really not a whole lot. I mean, a lot of updates, really. They're working on the critical intersection list, and right now, none of our water roads on there, but they're not. Wasn't a whole lot relative, right? So I don't have really transportation report. Nothing to update.
One thing, I did sign the contract with Kinley Corn.
Oh, yes.
You guys had given me the ability to go up to 15,000. I had a conversation with them and DOT, and we're actually able to drop the price down to, I think, 9,000
For the deal road.
for the deal road intersection. So we are moving forward with that.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Council comments.
And the only comment I had is, as Steve said, it's really hard to know, where to begin. You and I first met, there at the restaurant and trying to get you to come over here, and when you came to us, you were kind of in a bad way.
We were trying to meet you.
You came to us right when you needed it. And you brought along with you a wealth of knowledge, unbelievable work ethic. You told me when I first met you that you were the first to come, arrive in the morning, and the last to leave, and I can say that holds true today. I come by here sometimes, and I think I've called you on a few occasions before you go home. Your commitment to this town is second to none. The things that you have done for us, we all greatly appreciate. I could go on with this dimension of you. The noise ordinance, the junk ordinance, you got the construction inspector up and running, which is a huge deal. And I asked you to work on the erosion control. We couldn't have done it without you. The UDO, none of this is all things that you have accomplished, and it's not lost on me. The small things that you do every single day that makes this town run, that are just equally important, but they're small things and people tend to don't notice them. But it's what makes this town run and run smoothly. You have just done a phenomenal job, and I just can't thank you enough. I'd like to thank you on a personal level. In my 7.5 years, I have learned a lot as an elected official, and you were instrumental in helping me with that education. And I greatly appreciate that. I could go on and on, but one other thing, I think that as I made my way through the town, I have not heard one negative comment about you from the residents. They all have been extremely positive, not only as a planner, but as an administrator. And I can honestly say that was not always the case prior to your arrival, as people sing your praise up and down. And there's a reason for that. I mean, and so you will be greatly missed. And I thank you so much for all you've done for us in this town. And just so you know, if you need anything from me, please call. Don't hesitate. I'm here for you if you ever need it. Just thank you.
Oh, no. He said it all, but, yeah, the first night I met her, she was in her sweats at Chili's. And, but she did, she made a time that this town was, are you in your sweats? It was such a mess. And Leslie, it was the few of us that were here and lived through that. We ought to really celebrate what all you accomplished with this town. And I can't help, I'm a very emotional person, and I'm not kidding about it. But thank you for everything you've done. You've just been phenomenal, and I love you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'm sorry. I can't help it. That's who I am. It's okay.
No, it is.
I will just echo everything. I've only been here for a little over a year, and I don't know what happened before you guys.
You're welcome.
But I know that I couldn't
Hopefully you
have
will find out.
but I couldn't have done this last year and a half without you, and I really do thank you, and I'm very excited for you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It speaks highly that somebody's coming and poaching you like they are.
That's fair play.
Turnabout, fair play.
Yeah.
You know what, though? You are an asset, and I hope Waxhaw treats you well. If not, you will always have a home here. But thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow. Well, I know you and I had a good conversation on the phone today. And I will echo everything that's been said so far, but I want to reemphasize something that you mentioned, Mike, that has always impressed me, is your job knowledge, your work ethic, and your enthusiasm. Anybody that walks in your office to have a conversation with you about something knows you like what you do. And that is something rare, you know, in many cases, that people really enjoy their chosen line of work. And like I told you today, I'm glad for you and your family. I have no doubt that you will go far. And as I told you on the phone, I said, one of these days I'm going to be opening up the paper and they're going to be announcing the new city manager for Houston, Texas.
We can send you
And
her
we can
way.
say I knew her wins.
She got her skills here.
But I know, but you have always been helpful beyond measure, answering any of my mundane, silly questions about who do I need to talk to about this. You've always had it right there. And like I said, the last thing I'll say is you have left some mighty big shoes to fill.
That's right.
And we're going to have a tough time finding somebody to, and I told her on the phone, I'll tell y'all, if we find somebody that's half as good as you are, we're going to do just fine.
That's true.
And if you change your mind, then that's what we can do.
Yeah, that yeah, it's funny. I wanted to talk to her first this morning, and Was not expecting it. Was here to sign checks and was told that I was to visit the principal's office before I left to hear the news. And I had an 11:30 meeting and I had stuff I had to do before the meeting, and I really hadn't had time to kind of process what was going on. And Janice called just as I was finishing up the meeting, and I said, I'm about to finish, I'll call you back. And in the course of our conversation, this overwhelming, nauseous pit sorry, in my stomach began to churn. And no, but it had not the no, I hadn't had time to process it because I had to get home and get ready for this meeting. And I mean, I say this in all seriousness. See, I do cry. I relied so much on your direction. And this pit is because I don't know who I'm going to call when I need to ask the questions, the same kind of questions that Jeff asked. So I feel like I'm a little lost, but I am over the moon excited for you and your opportunity. And the reality of it is they're crazy not to go after you. I mean, they are. I have, and I just was having a conversation with somebody last week. There are a couple of residents that do business in the town, and they are constantly up here. And I've had several people say that this town has never been so efficiently run. And just the compliments are unbelievable. So I think it's wonderful. And I want to say, they've all said everything. So Lisa shares her birthday with my son, May the 4th. There's Star Wars things, May the 4th. So I always just kind of on my mind, and I was out last week running Samaritans, and I saw something, and I looked back. That's what I'm getting for her. So I got it last week with the anticipation of giving it to you on your birthday. And you ain't gonna be here. So I'm gonna make you something, and it's just a little, but I'm gonna make it open it now. And I think this in itself, and I'm gonna come see you in Waxhaw. And this says everything on what I think of you. You know, I'll give you some of that time. I'm killing it. Even on my worst day. And I think that I just saw it and I thought, that's what I need to get for her.
I love it.
So,
Thank you so much.
I think that really says it. I mean, even on your bad days, you pull up your big straps and you dig your heels in and you get it done, and you do it with a pleasant smile on your face. And that better be sitting on your desk wherever you are, and you don't be ashamed.
Houston, Texas.
And me too. So I wish you the best of luck. We all do, and I wish you the best. And I told you. You better answer my call. If I'm ringing and I ring 5 times, you better come back. It's a 911 emergency. I need an answer. So thank you. Best of luck to you. You're just down the street.
Yep. Absolutely.
Anybody have anything else they want to say?
I told her she's working for me now.
That's true. But you better bring your rear end to work.
Do you want to make a comment?
Yes, ma'am. I got put on the planning board in December of 2016, I think. And the next week I came and talked to Lisa about changing the UDO, 5-year plan, a couple other things, and you know what? Every damn one of them is done. And it's because of her. And she's made this town so much easier to administer, so much easier to track from a budget point of view, so much less legal problems we're gonna have. And all we gotta do is continue following the path that she laid out for us. Thank you, dear.
But thank you for bringing the great lawyers too.
I couldn't do my job.
We appreciate that one. And bringing, I mean, you've done so much, you've just done so much.
Your impact on this town will last for years, long after we're all
We're
doing
not.
something
That's
different.
right, that's right. Oh, okay. If that's it, I, permission to adjourn. All in favor? All right. That's a wrap. You better have May's agenda before you get.